I think it could be done again.
It can be.
And plus, you also broaden that Big 12 net, and you got a team right there in Florida, and that might be able to open up some recruiting in Florida to maybe some Texas teams.
To go to UCF instead of Florida State or Florida...
Or Texas or what? Oklahoma State, maybe Iowa State.
I understand. They did win the Fiesta Bowl, right? Is that what it was when they beat Baylor?
Yes.
So that's their big
claim to fame.
Well,
that's Boise State. They beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl.
What
also.
do you think their record was last year? Since this is your almighty
2-11. I don't know.
0-12.
0-12. Okay.
They did not win a football game.
I know. Most teams, they want Memphis.
So George O'Leary was fired mid-season, it appears.
I'll still take Central Florida.
Okay, so Central Florida, they were 9-4 the year before. 12-1 was when they won the Fiesta Bowl versus Baylor. 10-4, 5-7, 11-3, 8-5, 4-8, 10-4, 4-8, 8-5, 0-11, 3-9, 7-5. They're a historically mediocre football team.
Okay,
but
right
Central
up
Florida,
exactly what Oklahoma wants.
Right. So you're saying take one that makes Texas happy, and take Houston and make it competitive, and take UCF to appease Oklahoma.
That's right.
It's just not...
So
square peg, round hole here. Other than the media market, I don't see UCF being successful there. It'd be kind of like A&M. Maybe there's a little bit of flair and a bit of a jump start to it, and then look how A&M's going now.
Well, see, I don't think I'm getting A&M back from the SEC. That would be my pick right there.
There you go. Bring that back. Yeah, and I'm with you. I think you have about the same odds of A&M going back to the Big 12 as you do of Notre Dame going, which isn't going to happen. Memphis is one of the ones you mentioned.
And I'm not overly excited about that one.
Cincinnati has come up, the University of Cincinnati, and it helps out West Virginia, giving it another Eastern team.
Does it look like I'm concerned too much about West Virginia?
No, I don't think you are. And the other one, which has been mentioned every time Big 12 expansion has been mentioned, BYU. They have the same draw Notre Dame does. Is there are people who like BYU across the nation because of its religious affiliation, and they're loyal to its football team for the same reason people are loyal to Notre Dame. There's big money in the Mormon church there.
Yes, there is.
So huge market,
and they are competitive.
And recently, last year they were great. I mean, they scared Notre Dame. I think BYU did, or
I think last two times they played Texas, they beat them.
So.
And they have a beautiful stadium.
So they're competitive enough. They are a little regionally odd, but I think their market nationally makes up for what you lose there. So to me, BYU and Houston is probably the pick. Memphis could do it. They've had recent success, kind of like Houston.
Right.
Colorado State is begging to get in at this point. They're not very good. But,
No.
SMU is a dark horse being named.
Well, dark horse definitely was always a SMU thing. They like having dark horses.
Dark horse and pony shows.
So, do I believe in SMU that they're ever going to get anything going again?
Tulane, which regionally makes a lot of sense. They're as good as Central Florida.
Right.
And who doesn't want to go to New Orleans?
I don't want to go to New Orleans.
Really?
Okay, some people call Houston the armpit of the United States. I call New Orleans the taint of the United States, because that place is just so dirty and so nasty that I have no desire. I've been there once, and I have no desire really to go back.
Dear City of New Orleans, I apologize for Dave Carson and his rude remarks about your wonderful city. If you want to send me free tickets and lodging, I'd love to stay there, and I had a great time when I was just there this year.
On my way to Biloxi, we stopped there to have lunch in New Orleans, and the waiter at our table, he goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing here in New Orleans?" I said, "Oh, we're just passing through. We're on our way to Biloxi." And this great waiter that I had said, "Hey, the freeway's that way." So, okay, see you later.
Where is Biloxi?
Mississippi.
So you're going to tell me, going to Mississippi, that New Orleans is the armpit of the United States?
I had a great time in Biloxi.
I bet you did.
So, we went to the casinos, had a great time. Lost money. Never win. Hold that back. I found $100 in the elevator.
There you go. You won
winning.
something, right?
I won it to lose it, so.
Let's see if there's anybody else being mentioned. Texas State. But if Texas State can make it, North Texas is ready and willing. But
yeah,
if
you say Texas State, I'll put North Texas in there right away. And I think North Texas trumps Texas State.
Tulsa, North Dakota State. That's an interesting dark horse. And Boise State.
See, I don't think Boise State just because of the region, but I do believe that Boise State would be a better choice than, obviously, University of Central Florida. But regionally wise, I don't see it happening.
That's the same.
That's like saying, hey, let's put the University of Hawaii in the Big 12.
Well, they're gonna have to fit somewhere. They're running out of places to go, and I do think if you brought BYU because you're making that trip, I think you could do Boise State.
Well, we sit there and look back. Well, they used to travel to Nebraska.
It's not that far north. But again,
I don't know how much further that really is. But
I think market now is more important than region. And I think, like I said, I think having a national market. I think Boise State, they have an interesting following now too because of their success in the early 2000s. But really, it could be whoever the Big 12 deems fit. But I think all these teams are. I think two of the teams that we've mentioned, I think those are the teams who are likely.
But this is what the Big 12 really needs. They need to have that championship game, and they need to get that number two, those two teams in there before they have that championship game. Because just going, we play everybody in our conference. So what? So what? Just because you beat up on yourself, ask Baylor and TCU how that worked out for them. They got snubbed. Now, I really believe TCU was better of those two teams, but that's just my opinion.
Right. You can't, with the way the playoff system has gone, you have to go to the internal playoff system to get there.
Yeah, you have to have a championship game.
Crowning a champion affords you much more leverage than saying, hey, well, we have these two pretty good teams. Maybe you could take one of those guys. Well, which one do we take? Oh, they're both equal and awesome. Well, we only have one slot. Sorry, we're moving on.
Right.
I think that the Big 12 will expand, and I think that is part of their plan to add the playoff game.
Well, I hope so because I voiced this once, and I'll voice it again, that I don't think Oklahoma deserved to be in the Final Four last year. The Final Four as in Final Four of football. Because when you lose to a losing team that wasn't ranked all year, I don't think you deserve to be there.
I think this is a little of your Longhorns sticking out of your head.
No, I would have took any other team, Iowa, Michigan State. I think Michigan State didn't make it, and they got blown out. Ohio State. I think Ohio State was better than Oklahoma.
Well, I guess we'll never know.
No, we won't because...
Well, guys, thanks for joining us again.
We got duped.
It wasn't that bad.
I didn't watch the Oklahoma Clemson game, if that makes it any...
Why did you avoid it?
Matter of fact, I went to the movies.
Intentionally
to avoid it. And I left my cell phone at home.
Sounds like you were a little upset.
I was upset because I don't think they should have been there. I think that was a wrong pick.
They didn't win it all.
At least the gods shine down.
Allow Texas fans one more vengeance.
Like, we told you weren't good enough to be there.
When we beat you.
When we beat you in the Cotton Bowl.
Okay, guys, thanks
for
joining.
The original Cotton Bowl.
Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate you listening.